we take these possibilities that we see all around us and how do we realize them by leveraging the potential that's inside of us? Ourselves, our families, our teams, our coworkers. If we want those people to move toward a brighter future, we're going to have to get clear about what trade-offs we're willing to make. What good opportunities are we going to say no to so that we can deliver a firm yes to the best opportunities? You could make a sound, rational case for pursuing any one of these 8 directions this year. But the trouble with 8 directions is that it's approximately 7 too many if you actually want to get somewhere this year. Productivity is all about getting things done. Strategy, on the other hand, is about getting the right things done well and leaving other things undone. If any one of you in here catches yourself doubting whether you're too ordinary to inspire a domino effect of change that ripples across your team, your organization, and maybe even our whole society, I want you to remember this day, remember this moment, and remember it's been done before. One decision at a time. What's the point here? See, all 8 of these things are probably important to everyone's business, probably to everyone's personal life, everyone's family. The problem is that 8 directions is roughly 7 too many if you actually want to move somewhere, isn't it? Right, but this is what we do. We're held back, not because we're not doing enough of the right things, but because we're doing too many of the right things all at the same time. Right? So oftentimes our strategic plans are just simply a laundry list of all the stuff we'd like to do. And they're all important, they're all good. You can make a rational, sound business case for pursuing any one of those things. But it's too many things. And when you have a team, this is how we get out of alignment, because we're all pursuing something different, spinning in circles. When I'm not speaking or writing, I'm trying to help teams bridge the gap between strategy and execution. And invariably, they all start out believing that their number one problem is that they don't have enough time, budget, resources, manpower to do what they need to get done. Right? Until we go through a couple exercises, and then they realize that's not actually the problem. The problem is that they're trying to do way too many things all at the same time. Right? So, does anyone know what the Latin root of the word decide means? I'll give you a hint. Here's the other English words that share the same Latin root as decide. Homicide, suicide, genocide, herbicide, pesticide. What do all those words have in common? Right? They all come from the same Latin root for the word to kill or to cut. Now, when you put that in the context of decide, I think it gives us a whole new understanding about what it actually means to make a decision. See, we often talk about making decisions like we decided to pursue this strategy, we decided to hire this person, we decided to invest in that opportunity, we decided to marry this person, we decided to move here. And all that's great, except at its essence, at its core, making a decision is really much less about what we decided to do, and it's much more about all the other great opportunities and big ideas that we decided to cut, to kill from consideration, so that we could focus ourselves on doing the things that really matter. See, a lot of us tend to think about decisions as though they're their main purpose, that the act of making a decision is simply to clear a path, right, to clarify the road ahead. And in reality, that is one important function of a decision, but there's also another important function, and that's the decisions, the act of making a decision, little ones or big ones, also restores our confidence. Now, one of history's great mysteries was why George Washington, back in 1776, during the first year of the Revolutionary War, in which he's leading this undermanned, underfunded woefully underfunded military. Most of the soldiers didn't even have shoes, against the most powerful military in the world. And every single day leads to one humiliating defeat after another. And yet, in spite of all this, in spite of the fact that if he loses this war, he's most likely going to get sent to the hangman's gallows for treason, and he's not even coming close to winning at this point. In spite of all this, he goes back to his tent every night, and he spends hours, right, until the wee hours of the morning writing letters back home. And the content of these letters is not professing his undying love to Martha or even talking about his anxieties about the war. What he's doing in these letters is he's actually writing out detailed instructions for the home renovation project going on at Mount Vernon. Right? He's talking about what shades of red the curtains in the dining room ought to be, and what kind of handles we should go on the drawers in the new kitchen, and the patterns of rugs in the dining room and the drawing room. And this has baffled historians for literally 2 centuries, trying to figure out, I mean, was he delusional? Did he not know what he had at stake here? And back in the 90s, a couple of psychologists from UCLA and NYU actually gave us a really important clue as to why he was doing this. See, what they found is in this series of laboratory experiments, they found that before people make a decision, when they're contemplating something as simple as where to go on vacation, their self-esteem drops, their confidence drops, they become more pessimistic, they feel more vulnerable to risks. And then the second they make a decision and lay out 2 or 3 steps on how they're going to execute that decision, all of a sudden, their optimism skyrockets, their confidence shoots up, their self-esteem goes up. They actually feel less vulnerable to completely uncontrollable risks like hurricanes and earthquakes. And what they conclude here is that when we make a decision, our brain shifts into what they call an implementation mindset, right? It gets ready to take action. We're no longer in contemplation. We get ready to take action. And it has this ripple effect on every other aspect of our thinking. And so effectively, what George Washington was doing every night was, after dealing with the day's horrible challenges, he would go back and he was refueling his resilience generator so that the next morning he could get up and make all the big important decisions that he had to make. These little controllable decisions at night refueled his generator and powered his mind for the next day. And every night he would refuel his generator. Hidden underneath the outward appearance of the quiet, dignified middle-aged lady was the soul of a fierce and courageous driver. The kind of person who looks in the mirror and says, "Of course I'm afraid to put a target on my back. No, I don't know how all this is going to turn out. And yeah, I do wonder whether I'm too ordinary to make anything extraordinary happen." But the one thing I do know, at the core of my being, with absolute 100% certainty, is that I possess the right and the freedom to make the next decision in front of me. And the next, and the next, and the next. And with those decisions, I will channel my fear into focus. I'll take all my doubts and turn them into determination. I will take a turbulent time period and flip it into a legacy-shaping opportunity. And so from this moment forward, if any one of you in here catches yourself doubting whether you're too ordinary to inspire a domino effect of change that ripples across your team, your organization, and maybe even our whole society, I want you to remember this day, remember this moment, and remember, it's been done before. It's been done before. So why not you, and why not now?